A hagiography is a biography of a saint or an ecclesiastical leader. Christian hagiographies focus on the lives, and notably the miracles of men and women canonized by the Roman Catholic Church, the Anglican Communion, the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Oriental Orthodox Churches, and the Church of the East. Other religions such as Buddhism, Islam and Sikhism also create and maintain hagiographical texts concerning saints, gurus and other individuals believed to be imbued with sacred power. Hagiographic works, particularly those of the Middle Ages, can often incorporate a valuable record of institutional and local history, and evidence of popular cults, customs, and traditions. However, when referring to modern, non-ecclesiastical works, the term hagiography is often used as a pejorative reference to biographies and histories whose authors are perceived to be uncritical or reverential to their subject. Development. Hagiography constituted an important literary genre in the early Christian Church, providing some informational history along with the more inspirational stories and legend. A hagiographic account of an individual saint can constitute a vita or biography, a description of the saint's deeds or miracles, or an account of the saint's martyrdom, or be a combination of these. The genre of lives of the saints first came into being in the Roman Empire as legends about Christian martyrs were recorded. The dates of their deaths formed the basis of martyrologies. In the 4th century, there were three main types of catalogues of lives of the saints: annual calendar catalogue, or moine, lit. Lunar, biographies of the saints to be read at sermons; synaharion, or a short version of lives of the saints, arranged by dates; patericone, or biography of the specific saints, chosen by the catalogue compiler. In Western Europe, hagiography was one of the more important vehicles for the study of inspirational history during the Middle Ages. The Golden Legend of Jacob de Voragine compiled a great deal of medieval hagiographic material, with a strong emphasis on miracle tales. Lives were often written to promote the cult of local or national states, and in particular to develop pilgrimages to visit relics. The bronze Gniezna doors of Gniezna Cathedral in Poland are the only Romanesque doors in Europe to feature the life of a saint. The life of Saint Adalbert of Prague, who was buried in the cathedral, is shown in 18 scenes, probably based on a lost illuminated copy of one of his lives. The Bollandus Society continues the study, academic assembly, appraisal and publication of materials relating to the lives of Christian saints. Medieval England. Many of the important hagiographical texts composed in medieval England were written in the vernacular dialect Anglo-Norman. With the introduction of Latin literature into England in the 7th and 8th centuries, the genre of the life of the saint grew increasingly popular. When one contrasts it to the popular heroic poem, such as Beowulf, one finds that they share certain common features. In Beowulf, the titular character battles against Grendel and his mother, while the saint, such as Athanasius or Antony or the character of Guthlac, battles against figures no less substantial in a spiritual sense. Both genres then focus on the hero-warrior figure, but with the distinction that the saint is of a spiritual sort. Imitation of the life of Christ was then the benchmark against which saints were measured, and imitation of the lives of saints was the benchmark against which the general population measured itself. In Anglo-Saxon and medieval England, hagiography became a literary genre par excellence for the teaching of a largely illiterate audience. Hagiography provided priests and theologians with classical handbooks in a form that allowed them the rhetorical tools necessary to present their faith through the example of the saints' lives. Of all the English hagiographers, no one was more prolific nor so aware of the importance of the genre as Abbot Alfric of Ensham. His work The Lives of the Saints comprises a set of sermons on saints' days, formally observed by the English Church. The text comprises 2 prefaces, one in Latin and one in Old English, and 39 lives beginning on December 25 with the Nativity of Christ and ending with 3 texts to which no saints' days are attached. The text spans the entire year and describes the lives of many saints, both English and continental, and harkens back to some of the earliest saints of the early Church. There are two known instances where saints' lives were adapted into vernacular plays in Britain. These are the Cornish language works Bunan's Meriasek and Bunan's Ke, about the lives of Saints Meriasek and Kia, respectively. Other examples of hagiographies from England include the Chronicle by Hugh Candidus, the Sekgan manuscript, the List of John Leyland, possibly the book Life by St. Cadog. Medieval Ireland. Ireland is notable in its rich hagiographical tradition, and for the large amount of material which was produced during the Middle Ages. Irish hagiographers wrote primarily in Latin, while some of the later saints' lives were written in the hagiographer's native vernacular Irish. Of particular note are the lives of St. Patrick, St. Columba, Colum, and St. Bridget, Ireland's three patron saints. Additionally, several Irish calendars relating to the feast days of Christian saints contained abbreviated synopses of saints' lives, which were compiled from many different sources. Notable examples include the Martyrology of Tala and the Félire o Engisa. Such hagiographical calendars were important in establishing lists of native Irish saints, in imitation of continental calendars. Eastern Orthodoxy. In the 10th century, a Byzantine monk Simeon Metaphrastus was the first one to change the genre of lives of the saints into something different, giving it a moralizing and panegyrical character. His catalogue of lives of the saints became the standard for all of the Western and Eastern hagiographers, who would create relative biographies and images of the ideal saints by gradually departing from the real facts of their lives. Over the years, the genre of lives of the saints had absorbed a number of narrative plots and poetic images, medieval parables, short stories and anecdotes. The genre of lives of the saints was brought to Kiev in Rus by the South Slavs together with writing and also in translations from the Greek language. In the 11th century, the Rus began to compile the original life stories of the first Resurrant saints, e.g., Boris and Gleb, Theodosius Pekursky, etc. In the 16th century, Metropolitan Macarius expanded the list of the Resurrant saints and supervised the compiling process of their life stories. They would all be compiled in the so-called Velikie Shaimini catalogue, consisting of 12 volumes in accordance with each month of the year. They were revised and expanded by Saint Dmitry of Rostov in 1684 to 1705. Today, the works in the genre of lives of the saints represent a valuable historical source and reflection of different social ideas, world outlook and aesthetic concepts of the past.